National Games+Live Streaming+Fun+Blizzard+Bandits, the game of national rejuvenation has arrived at Blue Star. Randomly select a player from various countries to go to the Forbidden Island for trial, and the resources obtained will be multiplied by one's own country. When athletes from various countries are competing for resources and fighting monsters. Only Lin Yu embarked on the path of hunting down athletes from other countries. Motherland, bringing so many people and wanting to kill me, I see you don't want to live anymore. Ma Dongxi, compete with me, Lin Yu. Do you have this strength? In front of Yuzhao, bold demon, I can tell at a glance that you are not a human, show your appearance. Ba Tai, go up and slap that San 2 times. National Transportation Bandits, the dictatorship refuses. There are already millions of high-quality national sports articles, you can read them with confidence. Main characters. Lin Yu. Keywords of the novel. National Games Bandit. Starting with a violent beating of a Japanese player without a pop-up window, National Games Bandit. Starting with a violent beating of a Japanese player. Download the complete set of TXT. National Games Bandit. Starting with a violent beating of a Japanese player. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. National Revitalization and the Rise of Bandits. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In 2032 AD. Blue Star. 10 years ago. A war swept across the world, causing the rapid depletion of resources throughout the world. Ecological civilization has been severely damaged. The world population has sharply declined. The governments of various countries had to withdraw their troops and make peace a day ago. But after 10 years of war, today's human civilization is no longer at its peak 10 years ago. I want to completely restore my former prosperity. I don't know what year or month to wait. At this point, on a relatively bustling street in S City, Kyushu Province, a young man with yellow hair, a beard, a cigarette in his mouth, and a mischievous demeanor was strolling aimlessly on the street. Wherever he passes by, the crowd will automatically disperse 5 meters away, afraid of having too much contact with him. Lin Yu, who has been beaten 1,000 times, has come out for a stroll again. Please keep an eye on your wallet and don't let him steal it again. A disaster like Lin Yu should be killed by Xiao Ri's explosion, and living in this world is also harmful. That's it. A little rascal who takes care of the detention center, living is also a waste of food. This kind of person should be shot. Faced with various insults and ridicule from neighbors, Lin Yu just smiled and didn't take it to heart. Because Lin Yu has just crossed over for a day. As for the things that the original owner of the body did before, such as sneaking around and bullying men and women, they cannot be counted as his responsibility. After a day of adaptation, Lin Yu has already figured out the basic condition of his body. The parents of the original owner of the body died in the war earlier. Since then, the original owner has started to give up on himself, wandering around the streets on weekdays and occasionally bullying the young girl and daughter.in.law. He is a well-known hooligan, thug, and street wanderer from afar. Now that the war has just ended and there is nothing to be done, according to my abilities, even if I cannot become the richest man, I can at least achieve a worry-free life. Lin Yu muttered to himself, but this former owner is too bastard. He has made his reputation so bad. How can he continue to live in these 10 miles and 8 streets in the future? At this moment, a mechanical yet icy voice rang out in Lin Yu's mind. Global announcement. The National Games Recovery Game is about to start. 208 countries around the world will randomly select a national athlete from each country to enter the Forbidden Island for trial. The trial rules are as follows. 1. The content of this trial will be presented to all Blue Star humans through real-time live streaming, except for private content. 2. After the start of this trial, the remaining national sports of each country will be gathered to bless the athletes of each country, thereby awakening the inheritance of their own country. The blessing effect will depend on the number of national sports. 3. Taboos. There are many dangers on the island, and similarly, there are also many resources and opportunities on the island. Players are advised to explore with caution. 4. After the trial begins, each contestant will receive a 1 billion cubic meter space ring. Any resources placed in the space ring will reappear in their respective countries 1 hour later. 5. For each death of a contestant, the lifespan of all citizens in their country is reduced by 1 year, and all domestic resources are reduced by 1/10. After 1 hour, the contestant will be randomly resurrected at any location on the island. 6th. Wishing all contestants the opportunity to fight for more resources for their country and lead their respective countries towards glory. Now let's start randomly selecting national athletes with the sound of announcements echoing in everyone's minds around the world. The world has once again fallen into turmoil. The nerves of people from various countries that had just relaxed immediately became tense. Sleeping slot. What did I hear? National Games recovery game. What is this? Is it a joke from the gods? This is not a joke. I have also heard that one person will be randomly selected to participate in the trial on the Forbidden Island. Damn it, it's unfair. Why do we have to reduce our lifespan by 1 year if a contestant dies? I don't have many years left to live, so if a contestant dies more than 10 times, wouldn't I have to end my life? More than 10 times. As long as the contestant dies 10 times, all domestic resources will be cleared directly. Everyone is waiting to starve to death. Tired, destroy it, hurry up. Stupid. Now that the war has just ended, the environment is harsh, and the country's resources are scarce, this game can help Blue Star improve its ecological environment and restore human civilization to its appearance 10 years ago. That's right, athletes can also awaken their country's heritage through the remaining national sports of each country, and perhaps give birth to a deity-like existence. It will not be easy to obtain resources then. My splendid civilization of 5,000 years in Kyushu, with profound national fortune, will surely awaken extraordinary inheritance and be invincible in the world. The whole world belongs to our kimchi country, and the inheritance of our country is the highest, Simaida. I am fearless in Northern Bear country, Bula. My melee country is the most powerful country, and the national fortune is definitely the strongest. Kyushu and Kitakura, just wait to death. Hi. Big Brother is right. People from all over the world are discussing the game of national rejuvenation. There are those who question the authenticity of the game, those who angrily criticize the unfairness of the game, and those who die on equal footing. Of course. Most people believe that this is an excellent opportunity. After all, Blue Star has experienced a decade-long war. The current resources are too scarce. And this game of national rejuvenation. It just gave various countries an opportunity to compete for resources. As the saying goes, seeking wealth and prosperity insurance. Although the risk of this national rejuvenation game is a bit high, the profit is high. As long as the contestant obtains resources for more than an hour, they can achieve 100 times the reality of the present world. If the domestic players are strong enough, I can completely lead my country back to prosperity and prosperity. So many people are starting to rub their hands. I hope to be the one chosen. And at this moment, Lin Yu, on the other hand, was in a state of confusion. He once thought that the sound he had just heard was an illusion caused by smoking too much. But soon he saw some neighbors discussing the game of national rejuvenation with excitement. Lin Yu finally confirmed that everything he heard earlier was true, not an illusion. His grandmother. I was originally planning to do a big job while waiting for 100 useless things, but I came across such a stupid thing that handed over the fate of a country to one person. This is not nonsense. Lin Yu couldn't help but curse. If the selected person is a two-armed person with a bad brain, and dies 10 times on the Forbidden Island, the resources of the entire country will be completely wiped out. It would be better to fight for nothing than to die on an equal footing. However, I still hope to choose a reliable person. Don't be a cold chrysanthemum monster eating peaches, it's better to be a special forces soldier like Cold Foam. Just as Lin Yu was talking to himself, a different voice rang out in his mind again. Ding! Detected that the host is in the National Games recovery game and is bound to the God-level Bandit system. Ding! The Divine-level Bandit system has been successfully bound. Upon hearing this, Lin Yu immediately felt a sense of joy in his heart. Sure enough. How can a handsome protagonist like me who can travel without cheats? Although it was a bit slow, it was finally activated. Lin Yumeng took a deep breath and accurately popped his cigarette butt into the sewer, then exhaled a handsome cigarette ring and said, "System, let me introduce your functions first. This system is called the God-level Bandit system, dedicated to building the host into the most arrogant, domineering, and unreasonable bandit in all heavens and realms. As long as the host acts like a bandit in words and actions, they can receive system rewards at the same time. Completing tasks issued by the system can also earn system rewards." Lin Yu casually asked, "How do you portray a bandit?" Just converge a bit. Lin Yu. New book set sale, seeking support. With 1,000,000 completed national fortunes and excellent character, we will never stop changing. Chapter 2. Alarm. I asked you to call the police. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Lin Yu became familiar with the system functions, the announcement sounded again. Global announcement: 208 national athletes have been selected. Kyushu player Lin Yu, melee player Anthony, North Bear country player Vladimir, Sunset country player Merlin, Japanese player Yuzhao Qian. At the same time, a different announcement sounded in Lin Yu's mind. Kyushu citizen Lin Yu, congratulations on being selected as a Kyushu national athlete. You will represent Kyushu Kingdom in this national rejuvenation game. Next, you have 10 minutes of preparation time. Good luck. Hear this announcement. Lin Yu didn't feel much surprised. After all, I have already awakened to the divine-level bandit system. It is only natural to be selected as a national athlete in Kyushu. After selecting the contestants, the tense emotions of people from various countries have also slightly relaxed. Actually, for the vast majority of ordinary people, not being selected is the greatest luck. The 4 words, Forbidden Island, are not a good place just by their name. It must be a crisis lurking everywhere. Even with the blessings of national fortune, but without any wilderness survival experience, it is highly likely that one will also die. Instead of that, it's better to be honest and stay at home. There has also been a lively discussion about Lin Yu on the internet. Finally selected, fortunately it's not me, otherwise I might not have lived for 10 minutes, but who is this guy named Lin Yu? I think this person's name is ordinary and unremarkable. Maybe he is also unremarkable. This battle is probably in danger. Don't spread negative energy here. What can you tell from just one name? Maybe Lin Yu is a seasoned Special Forces soldier. Exactly. I believe that with our Kyushu National Games, the selected players must have their own outstanding qualities. Although most netizens have very high expectations for Lin Yu. But for the neighbors around Lin Yu who live 10 miles and 8 streets, it's like a bolt from the blue. Lin Yu is a well-known street skater from afar. Let a street skater represent Kyushu in the national rejuvenation game. They will never allow it. Soon, more than 10 uncles and aunties surrounded Lin Yu. Lin Yu, hurry up. Is the person named Lin Yu who was just selected you? Little bunny, I can warn you that if the selected person is really you, it's best for you to make a decision on yourself early and then switch to a normal person to participate in the competition, so that everyone won't be killed by you. Right, what old Zhang said is right. The lives of over 1 billion of us cannot be handed over to you. If you still have some conscience, it's best to go hang now. Hurry up and hang yourself, we can't let you harm everyone. Listen to everyone cursing at you. Lin Yu's face instantly darkened. Looking around at the ugly faces of the elders and aunties. Lin Yu's anger rises from his heart. When they scolded Lin Yu behind his back before, Lin Yu can still show indifference. But now, these old men and women all pointed at his nose and cursed at him. How can Lin Yu, who has awakened the divine level bandit system, tolerate it? Lin Yu's anger sank into his dantian and he shouted loudly, "Shut up, damn me. A group of old folks, dare you say one more thing, believe it or not, I'll cut off your tongues. What kind of thing are you? You're also pointing fingers at me. Do you still want me to hang you? Believe it or not, I'll strangle you now. Finish cursing." Lin Yu identified the most aggressive old Zhang who had just shouted. I grabbed his neck and stared at him fiercely, saying, "Did you just ask me to hang myself, you old man who never died? Do you have the strength to compete with me, Lin Yu? Bastard, you still want to scare me in such a scene. Are you okay? You couldn't do it back then." Looking at Lin Yu's murderous eyes, old Zhang was scared to pee and said nervously, "I don't have any." Lin Yu shrugged off old Zhang in disgust. Then he looked around and said sternly, "Don't think you're old enough to talk nonsense in front of me. I won't listen to anyone's words and I won't give face either." The other uncles and aunties saw Lin Yu's terrifying and murderous aura, and remembered Lin Yu's daily bullying of men and women. They were instantly frightened and fled, afraid to stay any longer. Seeing everyone fleeing one after another, Lin Yu disdainfully spat out a mouthful of thick phlegm and said, "Pooh. What kind of thing?" Ding. The progress of the host playing as a bandit has increased by 1%, and the current progress is 1%, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Swallowing Demon Technique Chi Training Chapter, which can be learned. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a lower-grade magical tool called Huaqiang Brand Watermelon Knife, which has been placed in the system warehouse. Hear the reward prompt from the system. Lin Yu's anger instantly turned into joy. It is truly a divine-level bandit system. You can easily scare the old man and the old lady to obtain chi cultivation techniques and inferior magical tools. Lin Yu even wanted to bring back those old men and women and scare them again. But looking at the empty street again, Lin Yu can only give up. There are still about 6 or 7 minutes left for preparation. He's better get some supplies first, so as not to make it difficult to move any further after arriving at the Forbidden Island. Soon, he rushed to a small supermarket not far away. The supermarket owner is the old Zhang who was scared to wet his pants by Lin Yu before. Old Zhang shouted in terror, "Lin Yu, what are you doing? I warn you, don't act recklessly, be careful, I'll call the police." Lin Yu said disdainfully, "Look at your cowardly behavior. Where did you go with that awesome energy just now? Didn't you just want me to hang myself? Come on, find a rope to strangle me now, otherwise I'll strangle you." Old Zhang was so scared that he squatted on the ground and exclaimed, "I dare not." Lin Yu waited for a long time but didn't hear the sound of the system reward. Suddenly, there was no interest in continuing to scare old Zhang. So he walked to the shelf area on his own and loaded all the goods on the shelf into the system space. In just a few minutes of effort, almost completely looted old Zhang's small supermarket. Finally, Lin Yu walked into the counter. Sweep away all the cigarettes in the counter. Then he squatted in front of old Zhang and asked, "Do you have a phone?" "I have it." Old Zhang trembled and took out an elderly phone from his pocket, then handed it to Lin Yu. Lin Yu suddenly said, "Call the police." Old Zhang suddenly looked bewildered and exclaimed in disbelief. Lin Yu shouted loudly, "I asked you to report to the police." Lin Yu's words have just landed. The announcement sounded again. The 10-minute preparation time has passed, and now the transfer is starting. The announcement is over. I saw a flash of white light. Lin Yu disappeared instantly. The bewildered old Zhang finally realized. Lin Yu, this little rascal, has really been selected. So old Zhang immediately dialed the alarm number for the demons and spirits. Chapter 3. Don't think you're a system, so I dare not touch you. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 208 white lights flashed across the world. All national athletes from 208 countries have been transported to the Forbidden Island. At the same time, an app called National Games Recovery Game is automatically installed on billions of electronic devices worldwide. Everyone in the world can watch or listen to real-time live content through electronic devices such as mobile phones, computers, tablets, televisions, radios, etc. The page of the app is very simple, except for 208 live streaming rooms, there is nothing else. In just a few seconds, hundreds of millions of people logged into the app and entered the live streaming rooms of their respective countries. The number of people in the live broadcast rooms in Kyushu is the fastest growing. 100 million. 200 million. 300 million. Soon. The number of people in Kyushu's live broadcast room has increased by as much as 600 million, far exceeding other countries. Here we go, here we go, here we go. How is it in a black screen state? What about people? What about our contestant Lin Yu? It's just that, such an awesome national sports game has even created a black screen live broadcast room, it's too cheap. Fuck you, trash game, get a refund. Just as everyone was spraying. The announcement sounded again. Now we are gathering the remaining national sports of various countries to bless our own athletes. The blessing of Kyushu Kingdom has been completed. Congratulations to Kyushu Kingdom player Lin Yu for obtaining the Mortal Bloodline. Current state. Mortal. The blessing of Melee Kingdom has been completed. Congratulations to Melee Kingdom player Anthony for obtaining the bloodline of our motherland. The current state is in the middle stage of chi cultivation. Sunset Country blessing completed. Congratulations to Sunset Country player Merlin for obtaining Merlin Mage's bloodline. Current state. Early stage of chi cultivation. Blessing from the Northern Bear Country has been completed. Congratulations to the Northern Bear Country player Vladimir for obtaining the Diamond Bear bloodline. The current state is in the middle stage of chi cultivation. Blessing from the Eastern Kingdom has been completed. Congratulations to the player Yuzhao Qian from the Eastern Kingdom for obtaining the Nine-Tailed Fox bloodline. Current state. Early stage of chi cultivation. The blessing of the Kimchi Kingdom has been completed. Congratulations to the Kimchi Kingdom player Ma Dongxi for obtaining the bloodline of the Berserker. The current state is in the early stage of chi cultivation. Maple Leaf Country Silver Country. After hearing the announcement, over 1 billion people in Kyushu were in a state of uproar. Sleeping trough. What the hell's going on here? Protest. There is a dark curtain. My splendid civilization of 5,000 years in Kyushu, how could it only obtain the blood of ordinary people? There is definitely a dark curtain. That's right, even the small country of Japan can obtain the Nine-Tailed Fox bloodline, and our Kyushu athletes cannot only obtain one mortal bloodline. I'm sure it's those animals from Melee who are doing behind-the-scenes operations. I don't agree. Just when the people of Kyushu were angry about the unfairness of the national games. After receiving the news, netizens from countries such as Melee, Japan, and Kimchi also came to Kyushu's live broadcast rooms to watch jokes. Hahaha, you deserve it, little Kyushu. It's ridiculous. What nonsense is that after 5,000 years of civilization, you're not just an ordinary person in the end? Or is it that my country, Damalai, has a deep national fortune and has obtained the superhuman bloodline of our motherland? Just wait for death. Hi. Big Brother is right. My nine-tailed fox in Japan is the bloodline of an ancient mythical beast, and it will definitely lead the country towards glory. Wash your necks and wait for death in Kyushu. Foolish Kyushu people, our kimchi country is the greatest country. Our contestant Ma Dongshi has gained the bloodline of a crazy warrior, and we can definitely beat Lin Yu from your Kyushu. Watching the Xiao Xiao people clamoring in their own live broadcast room, netizens in Kyushu were immediately filled with righteous indignation and began to fight back. No matter whether the mortal bloodline is strong or weak, at least we can't lose in arguments. Look at what you can do, it's just Chinese people, coquettish foxes, and reckless men. Why be afraid? Ordinary bloodline is the strongest bloodline in this world. That's right, even ordinary people with an invincible heart can go against the gods. Only the mortal bloodline has a heart that embraces all things, and is full of infinite possibilities. The final victory must belong to our Kyushu. Although Lin Yu didn't pay much attention to the blessing of national luck after he had the divine level bandit system, he still felt something was wrong at this moment. Based on the cultural heritage and strength of each country, Kyushu is definitely one of the top 208 countries in the world, on par with Mili and Kitakura. There is no reason why athletes from other countries have gained extraordinary blood. As a player from Kyushu, he only gained a mere mortal bloodline. What's the difference between this damn thing and not being blessed? Lin Yu frowned and pondered for a moment before thinking to himself, "System, is it your fault? Host, you already have the help of this system. You only need to play the role of a bandit to embark on an extraordinary journey, without the blessing of Kyushu National Games." Lin Yu snorted coldly and cursed, "Don't pretend to be foolish. Let me ask you, where is my national fortune? The Grand Nine Provinces, with profound national fortune, have you been embezzling them like this? Don't think you're a system, I dare not touch you. If you dare to cheat on my things, I can't spare you either." Ding! The progress of the host playing as a bandit has increased by 1%, and the current progress is 2%, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Mad Magic Blade Technique Chi Training Chapter, which can be learned. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 lower grade pills called EP1-10, which have been placed in the system warehouse. Ding! The Kyushu National Games have condensed into a National Games Golden Elixir, which has been placed in the system warehouse. I lost it. Is this also possible? Lin Yu suppressed the surprise in his heart and said coldly, "You're a smart kid. What is the use of this National Fortune pill?" The National Fortune Golden Elixir has many effects such as cultivation, improving qualifications, breaking through boundaries, refining tools, and eliminating karma. It can be said that it is infinitely useful. The stronger the national fortune, the better the effect. That's really a good thing, Lin Yudao said. Then keep it for now and use it when it's critical. Not too much time. The blessing of 208 national athletes has been completed, and the game of national rejuvenation has officially begun. Special note. The cultivation realm of mortals can be divided into Chi cultivation, foundation building, golden pill, elemental baby, transforming spirit, refining deficiency, combining, Mahayana, and crossing calamity. The announcement is over. At the same time, the live broadcast room also began to broadcast live footage of athletes from various countries. At this time, the number of people in Kyushu's live broadcast room was the highest, reaching 1.5 billion. 1 billion of them are netizens from Kyushu, and the other 500 million are netizens from other countries who come to watch jokes. When people see Lin Yu's true face, the whole world was in a commotion. Foreign netizens are extremely sarcastic towards Lin Yu. Haha, what did I say? Kyushu is really hopeless. Lin Yu is not only a mortal bloodline, but also a street thug. Such a person will die on the Forbidden Island in less than a day. Looking at his emaciated and lifeless appearance, I'm afraid he can't even kill a chicken, he's just a waste. Kyushu, just wait for your country to be destroyed, ha ha ha. Although netizens in Kyushu feel extremely angry with these sarcastic remarks. But there is really no reason to refute them. Because Lin Yu's image is really devalued. Whether it's in terms of hairstyle, dressing, or temperament. The whole thing is just a little rogue. It's completely embarrassing to use. The people of Kyushu couldn't help but howl in their hearts. Are you really going to ruin my Kyushu? Chapter 4. Players who land into boxes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ridicule of the people of other countries and the distrust of their own compatriots. Lin Yu cannot see or hear. These have no impact on him at all. With the blessing of the divine level bandit system, he has confidence in dealing with any danger. Lin Yu took the lead in cautiously surveying the surrounding environment. Discovering oneself on a beach. 10 meters ahead is a lush primeval forest, with ancient trees covering the sky and blocking the sun. Occasionally, the forest is filled with the howling of tigers and apes. 10 meters behind, there is an endless black, dead sea. The sea surface appears calm, but the terror hidden beneath it is unimaginable. The entire island is filled with a gloomy and terrifying atmosphere of death. If a timid person sees this terrifying scene alone, they will be scared out. Lin Yu couldn't help but sigh at this moment. It is truly a terrifying existence called the Forbidden Island. There are many crises on this island, and the top priority is to quickly digest and absorb the rewards from the system before proceeding. So he thought to himself, system, learn the swallowing demon technique. Ding! The chi refining chapter of swallowing the heavenly demon technique is currently being studied in an instant. A large amount of cultivation information flooded into Lin Yu's mind. From the beginner of swallowing the heavenly demon technique to the cultivation method in the later stage of chi refining. Everything is ready. Soon. The cultivation method of swallowing the heavenly demon technique was firmly engraved in Lin Yu's mind. Rubbing his slightly swollen and painful head, Lin Yu muttered to himself, it's truly something produced by the bandit system. Even the martial arts are so unreasonable. Swallowing the heavenly demon skill, as the name suggests, lies in a single word of swallowing. This cultivation method can improve one's cultivation level by devouring any item. Whether it's spiritual energy, magical energy, ghost energy, spiritual stones, magic treasures, elixirs, or even the origin of corpses. They can all become resources for practicing the heavenly swallowing demon technique. It's really domineering and unreasonable. System, continue to learn the Mad Magic Blade technique. Ding! Crazy Magic Knife Technique Chi Training Chapter Learning. The same way of learning. All the information from the Mad Magic Blade Technique Chi Training Chapter quickly imprinted in Lin Yu's mind. He felt a slight headache in his mortal body. So Lin Yu quickly took out a EP1-10 from the system warehouse and threw it into his mouth. The pill quickly dissolves as soon as it enters the abdomen. A massive amount of vitality quickly wanders through the Lin Yu meridians. Lin Yu followed the cultivation method of swallowing the heavenly demon technique to devour these elemental energies. At this point, he could clearly feel that the heavenly swallowing demon technique was slowly strengthening his body. The discomfort caused by learning martial arts and knife techniques just now quickly dissipated. Instead, it brings comfort from the inside out. A solid foundation nourishing pill was quickly absorbed. Lin Yu, who realized the benefits, naturally wouldn't stop there. And on this island of taboos, one more point of strength. Just an extra guarantee of survival. Taking advantage of the current position, it is still relatively safe. It's better to practice for a while before making plans. So Lin Yu took out another Gubanpeyuan pill and threw it into his mouth. And the netizens in the Kyushu Kingdom live broadcast room saw Lin Yu's appearance and began to discuss it again. Isn't this contestant a sick seedling? Judging from his appearance just now, he had a headache and took 2 pills. Although he didn't want to admit it, upon closer examination, he seemed to have had a headache just now and took 2 unknown pills, perhaps painkillers. Isn't that the end of the calf? Let's just forget about the mortal bloodline, but I didn't expect to be a sick seedling. Are we really hopeless in JoJo? Foreign netizens were even more excited when they saw this scene, even more so than when they saw a 4-legged lizard with a single strand of love. I'll just say that your Lin Yu is useless. Not only is he from a mortal bloodline, but he is also sick. I see, in less than an hour, he will have to die on the island. Ha ha ha. I heard that if a contestant dies once, the collective life of all the people in their country will be reduced by 1 year, and all domestic resources will be reduced by 1/10. As long as Lin Yu dies about 10 times, Kyushu will perish. Shiba. The territory in northeast China belongs to our great kimchi country. Faced with ridicule from netizens from various countries, netizens in Kyushu also cursed loudly, freely venting one's anger and unwillingness. Dog said, "Japanese boy, if you have the guts, let's have another fight and see who will perish first." Even a small country with small bullets dares to shout. If you hadn't knelt and licked the Mealy Kingdom, you would have been defeated 10 years ago. Ignorant rat. Lin Yu's current state is clearly meditating and practicing. Why do you say he's sick? Just wait and see. The online curse war continues non-stop. Lin Yu's cultivation progress is also getting faster and faster. The second Guban EP1-10 was quickly refined. Lin Yu thinks this speed is still too slow. Swallow 7 strengthening and nurturing pills in one breath. A massive amount of pure vitality quickly dissipated in Lin Yu's stomach. His stomach instantly bloated like a pregnant woman. Lin Yu furrowed his brows and forced himself to endure. Soon. Under the devouring of the heavenly swallowing demon technique, massive amounts of vitality are slowly being consumed and absorbed. Lin Yu's swollen stomach subsided. His face also became increasingly rosy. The body also strengthened at a speed visible to the naked eye. The people of Kyushu quickly noticed the changes in Lin Yu. Everyone was overjoyed. I'll just say, my civilization of over 5,000 years in Kyushu, how could it be without any foundation? Lin Yugang is definitely practicing, and now he is clearly much stronger than before. The size of it, the dog's Japanese boy, you keep shouting. I am never weaker than others in Kyushu. The netizen who just shouted stubbornly said, "Cut, even if it's not a sick seedling, what's wrong? I'm not just an ordinary person. My contestant from Japan has awakened the bloodline of the 9-tailed fox, and I'll beat your mortal contestant. Cut, it's just a coquettish fox." On the beach. After nearly 10 minutes of cultivation, Lin Yu has successfully refined 9 pills for strengthening the foundation and cultivating the yuan. And his cultivation level has successfully broken through to the middle stage of qi refining. It is no longer weaker than Anthony in Mealy and Vladimir in North Bear. As for the last pill, he has no intention of using it now. But it was placed in the space ring in the hand. This space ring was automatically worn by him when teleported to the Forbidden Island. The storage space inside is as high as 1 billion cubic meters. As long as the resources are placed in the space ring for more than an hour, these resources will be 100 times more abundant within the territory of Kyushu. Lin Yu plans to get a bug stuck. Put some items rewarded by the system into it. As for whether it can successfully manifest within the territory of Kyushu, then we can only rely on fate. Lin Yu stood up slowly, stretching comfortably. The bones and meridians throughout the body suddenly click. Lin Yu couldn't help but moan, "It's really comfortable," continuing. Lin Yu took out another Hua Zi from his pocket and lit it. Then take a strong puff and spit out a standard cigarette ring. Just as Lin Yu was swallowing clouds and exhaling mist, the announcement sounded again. Announcement. Kimchi player Ma Dongxi has died in action and will be randomly resurrected at any location on the Forbidden Island in 1 hour. The life expectancy of the entire population in Kimchi country has decreased by 1 year. All resources in Kimchi country have decreased by 1/10. Chapter 5. Dangerous Arrival. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Announcement of the death of Kimchi player Ma Dongxi instantly awakened everyone. This game is really deadly. People on Blue Star are flocking to the live broadcast rooms of Kimchi country. I want to figure out what exactly happened. Even foreign netizens who came to Kyushu's live broadcast room to watch Lin Yu's jokes have retreated. Because now there is a bigger joke waiting for them. When people come to the Kimchi country live broadcast room, the live broadcast room is playing footage of Ma Dongxi before his death. As soon as the horse landed, it appeared on a plane. Looking down from a high altitude. The entire plane cannot be seen at a glance. The area is difficult to estimate. After observing the surrounding environment with caution, Ma Dongxi did not find any living creatures. So he took it lightly. Then Ma Dongxi began to search for resources everywhere on the plane. But unfortunately, the entire plane, except for the grass and shrubs on the ground, there is nothing else. Even the water source is only a small stream with a width of only 10 centimeters. The somewhat resentful horse couldn't help but raise its head and let out a loud roar. But it's just this roar. Summon the monsters from this grassland. Wilderness Wolf. A first-order junior demon beast that likes to live in groups. An ordinary wolf pack has around 100 members. Sharp fangs are their most powerful weapons, and the speed of the wind is their guarantee for chasing prey. Although Ma Dongxi reached the initial stage of chi cultivation after awakening the bloodline of the berserker, enough to fight against first-level and junior monsters. But he encountered a pack of wolves in the wilderness. After more than 10 first-level wilderness wolves surrounded him heavily. Ma Dongdong persisted for less than 10 seconds before being buried in the wolf's mouth. The whole body was torn apart by the wolf pack and then swallowed into the wolf's stomach. Many netizens couldn't help but vomit after seeing this bloody scene. Ugh, it's too bloody, too scary, this damn game is really killing people. I didn't expect Ma Dongxi to awaken his berserk bloodline and be unable to defeat the wolf pack. So where should other players who haven't awakened their special bloodline go? Don't forget, this is not the most terrifying thing yet. The most terrifying thing is that with the death of Ma Dongxi, all the people of the Kimchi country will be reduced by 1 year, and all domestic resources will also be reduced by 1/10. We deserve it. The little Kimchi kingdom has always regarded itself as the kingdom of the universe, and this time the wilderness wolf finally helped us out with this bad breath. Just after Ma Dongxi died in battle, punishment befell the country of Kimchi. All citizens have a 1-year reduction in life expectancy. This may not be relevant for young people, but for those elderly people in their 70s and 80s. Undoubtedly, it is a life-telling talisman. Especially those patients who are already lying in hospitals with limited time. This punishment directly sentenced them to death. At this moment, in various hospitals and nursing homes in Kimchi country, the number of elderly deaths directly exceeds 1,000. Not only that, the domestic resources of fresh water, crops, wildlife, minerals, and even land in Kimchi have instantly decreased by 1/10. This result make everyone feel lingering palpitations. Because everyone doesn't know if the next player to die will be from their own country. They can only silently pray that their country's athletes can persist for more days. It's best to be able to search for some supplies to support your country. But heaven does not fulfill people's wishes. Not long after Ma Dongxi died in battle, the second death notice sounded again. Announcement. Poison Country player Amir has died in action and will be randomly resurrected at any location on the Forbidden Island in 1 hour. The life expectancy of all citizens in the Poison Country has been reduced by 1 year. All resources of the Poison Country have been reduced by 1/10. Everyone is once again transferred to the live broadcast room of the Poison Country. Although Amir, a player from the Poison Country, awakened the Brahmin bloodline with the remaining national luck of the Poison Country and reached the initial stage of chi cultivation. But its actual combat effectiveness is not as good as Ma Dongxi, this crazy warrior. So when Amir encountered a blind first-order bear, I only persisted for 10 rounds. He was slapped to death by the blind bear on the tree. At the same time, punishment befalls the country of poison. It's different from the Kimchi country. The population base of the Poison Country is already large. The proportion of elderly people is also very large. So even though it's just a year of lifespan reduction, but more than 100,000 elderly people died in an instant. This death toll is even comparable to the total population of a small city. Not only that. A toxic country with already scarce per capita resources. After losing 1/10 of the resources, it became even poorer. Maybe it won't be long. A series of unrest will erupt within the territory of the Poison Country. This already unstable country will once again become unstable. Netizens from other countries can only make a few sarcastic comments in the live broadcast room of the Poison Country as if watching the excitement. Then he quickly returned to his own country's live broadcast room. I'm afraid that my country's athletes will also follow in the footsteps of Ma Dongxi and Amir. In the next few minutes, the announcement sounded 8 times in succession. Players from countries such as Silver Country, Maple Leaf Country, Jiaoji Country, and Iceland Country have successively died in battle. The reasons for death in action are also diverse. Some are due to poor luck of the contestants, who encountered a powerful group of monsters before taking 2 steps and were directly swallowed by them. Some of them were defeated after fighting against monsters for dozens of rounds due to their weak national luck and failure to awaken their powerful bloodline talents. There are also a few who died on their own, so it's even less worth mentioning. The national sports game has only started for more than 10 minutes. 10 athletes from different countries have already died in action. According to estimates, after the deaths of these 10 contestants, at least over 1 million people have died due to the punishment of losing 1 year of life. This number silenced all the humans on the Blue Star. Those bad-mouthed netizens no longer go to live streaming rooms in other countries to mock. They also don't know if the next player to die will be from their own country. What they can do now is to pray for their own athletes. That's all. Cheer up. We must hold on. Our hopes are all pinned on you alone. God bless. Blessed by Buddha. Blessed by our ancestors. On the beach, Lin Yu looked at the burning Hua Zi in his hand. Take a strong puff, then bend your finger and flick your cigarette butt into the black seawater. Turning to look at the dense forest, he whispered, although the jungle is extremely dangerous, you can't stay on this beach all the time. You still need to find a relatively safe place to settle down as soon as possible, otherwise you will feel sad at night. Say it. Lin Yu took out the inferior tool, Huaqiang brand watermelon knife, from the system warehouse and firmly held it in his hand. With this watermelon knife, coupled with the cultivation in the middle stage of Qi cultivation and the mad magic knife technique. As long as you don't encounter a group of monsters, surviving should not be a problem. Just as Lin Yu was preparing to step into the jungle. But he keenly felt a hint of killing intent emanating from the jungle ahead. There is danger. Lin Yu immediately stopped in his tracks. Then quickly retreat to the beach. Place the watermelon knife horizontally on your chest. Staring intently at the jungle ahead. Chapter 6 First Kill. Ordinary bloodline is the most impressive. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, Lin Yu's nerves were tense. Staring at the dense jungle ahead without blinking. He could clearly feel that danger was gradually approaching him. The swallowing heavenly demon technique is rapidly running. A faint demonic aura surged around him. He exudes a strong aura. If it weren't for that shiny yellow hair. At this moment, he really looks like a fierce bandit. And netizens in the Kyushu Country live broadcast room became nervous when they saw Lin Yu react like this. What happened? Did Lin Yu encounter danger? Nonsense. Judging from Lin Yu's current situation, it's clear what terrifying things are in the jungle ahead. What should we do? Are our Kyushu athletes going to become the 11th to die in battle? Lin Yu, you must hold on. If you die, my 80-year-old father will probably be buried with you. I believe in Lin Yu, he will definitely not die. Doesn't anyone care where Lin Yu's watermelon knife came from? And for countries where players have already died, it will take another hour for them to be resurrected. So they are continuously replaying the scene of the athlete's death in their live broadcast room. So netizens from countries like Kimchi and Poison crowded into the live broadcast rooms of Kyushu to watch the excitement. Now seeing Lin Yu seems to be in danger. They were even more delighted in their hearts. Ha ha ha. You deserve it. The retribution has come. Our horse has died, and your Lin Yu can't live well either. Hurry up and die, Shiba. Foolish Kyushu people, welcome the punishment of death together. There were constant curses in the live broadcast room. And Lin Yu on the beach finally saw the source of danger. It is a black gorilla about 3 meters tall. The basic information of the gorilla quickly appeared before his eyes. Male long-armed magic ape. A first-level intermediate monster with long and powerful arms, it is a very powerful weapon. Reminder. This monster is in heat, with combat power increased by 50% and intelligence decreased by 50%. Looking at the information of the monster. Lin Yu's eyebrows furrowed tightly. A male monkey in heat. Shouldn't we go find a female monkey to play poker at this time? Why bother yourself on the beach for no reason? Are monkeys playing so much now? This is really unreasonable. I didn't wait for Lin Yu to think much. The long-armed demon ape quickly rushed towards Lin Yu and slapped his head directly with its huge palm. In its eyes. Lin Yu is a little monkey without any resistance. An existence that can be easily slapped to death. Lin Yu quickly dodged on his side upon seeing the situation. Then he raised the watermelon knife in his hand and cut it towards the arm of the long-armed demon ape. Pushi, the inferior magical tool watermelon knife directly cut a wound of over 20 centimeters long on the arm of the long-armed demon ape. The surging blood instantly dyed the beach red. The long-armed demon ape was even more ferocious when it was hit. Turn around and let out an angry roar at Lin Yu. Then, disregarding the wound on his arm, he continued to attack Lin Yu. Although the realm of the long-armed demon ape is comparable to that of Lin Yu. But its brain is already difficult to use, coupled with the influence of heat, its intelligence is even more worrying. It only knows how to attack with its own long arms at this time. At this time, Lin Yu was also fighting against monsters for the first time, and his experience was not very rich. So I chose a relatively conservative playing style. He constantly dodged back and forth using the swift footwork included in the Mad Magic Saber technique. By the way, seize the opportunity to inflict 1 or 2 blows on the long-armed demon ape. The battle lasted for 2 minutes. Lin Yu managed to dodge all attacks by utilizing his flexible positioning. However, the body of the long-armed demon ape has already been cut more than 10 deep wounds by Lin Yu. The ground where the two had fought was stained black and red with the blood of the long-armed demon ape. Even Lin Yu's body was stained with a lot of blood from the long-armed demon ape. At this time, the long-armed demon ape. Because of excessive blood loss. The ferocity recedes. I gradually calmed down. The red eyeballs just now slowly turned back to their original brown color. Smart intelligence has once again taken over the high ground. At this moment, it realized that it was not Lin Yu's opponent and could only growl at him unwillingly. Then he turned his head towards the direction of the jungle and let out a roar of grievances. Afterwards, he quickly ran towards the direction of the jungle with both hands and feet. Lin Yu couldn't let this beast achieve his wish. Come if you want, leave if you want. When I was a bandit for nothing. Without saying a word, Lin Yu picked up the watermelon knife in his hand and rushed straight behind the long-armed demon ape with one swift step. Then he stabbed into his red buttocks with a knife. Ahem-o roar, a series of strange shouts came from the mouth of a 3-meter-tall long-armed demon ape. Lin Yu was covered in goosebumps. Pulling out the watermelon knife forcefully brought out a pile of red and yellow filth. Lin Yu ignored nausea and vomiting. Taking advantage of the gap between the long-armed demon ape's arms covering its buttocks and no defense on its front, Lin Yu took a slide and rushed straight to the front of the long-armed monkey. Instantly jumped to the head of the long-armed demon ape. The crazy magic knife technique in hand is rapidly running. A series of magical energies instantly covered the watermelon knife. Kill the gods with one slash. The black magic energy instantly penetrated the neck of the long-armed demon ape. Lin Yu landed gracefully. 2 seconds later. Bang! The huge head of the long-armed demon ape fell to the ground in response. The neck of the headless corpse spewed out a stream of bright red blood. Announcement. Kyushu player Lin Yu has successfully killed the first-level intermediate demon beast, the long-armed demon ape. Announcement. Congratulations to Kyushu national athlete Lin Yu for increasing his lifespan by 1 year and improving his overall physical fitness by 10%. Announcement. Life expectancy of all residents in Kyushu has increased by 1 year, and overall physical fitness has increased by 10%. Announcement. All resources within Kyushu territory will increase by 10%. With the sound of announcements echoing one after another, thunderous applause and endless laughter erupted within the territory of Kyushu. I knew it. I knew our Kyushu athletes were the most amazing, Lin Yu. From now on, you will be the only true god in my heart. Who said that mortal blood does not flow into the bloodstream? It has been proven that mortal blood is the most powerful. Thank you, Lin Yu. My terminally ill old father's health has suddenly improved and he can live another year. Thank you. Eugeniabe. Suddenly, there was a lot more grain in my granary. Me too. The water level of the long river in our village suddenly rose a lot, and the water quality became clearer. With the arrival of rewards, a huge change occurred instantly within the territory of Kyushu. All kinds of supplies suddenly increased by 10%. Every common person in Kyushu feels that their physical condition is much better than before. Patients who were originally still sick feel that their bodies have recovered a lot. Kyushu became the first country to enjoy the benefits of this national rejuvenation game. This made Lin Yu the living bodhisattva and immortal in everyone's mind in an instant. Some people even started preparing to set up a longevity monument for Lin Yu at home. On the beach. Although Lin Yu successfully killed the long-armed demon ape, but he still hasn't let his guard down. In his perception, there is still an enemy hidden in the dense forest ahead. Chapter 7. I am very angry now. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lin Yu pointed his knife directly at the jungle ahead and said sternly, "Did you come out to die yourself, or did I go in and kill you?" The words fell to the ground, after about 5 seconds. Sure enough, a person walked out of the jungle. And she is also a young and beautiful woman. A woman's long hair is coiled behind her head, with a charming appearance, and a pair of seductive eyes full of allure. Even if an ordinary person takes a glance through the screen, it is difficult to contain the most primitive impulse in their heart. Countless netizens stood up in excitement at the moment they saw her. I didn't expect there to be such a beautiful woman on the Forbidden Island. Yushin is really blessed. This horse is so punctual. If it were me, the stinky man has nothing good. The fox, dressed in a kimono, is clearly the contestant Yuzao from neighboring Japan. That's right, I just went to the live broadcast room next door in Japan and saw that this woman is indeed a contestant from their country, Yuzao Qian. It seems like she has awakened the nine-tailed fox bloodline. No wonder she is so seductive and charming. I see, I said, how could there be women on this forbidden island? It turns out they are Japanese athletes. And Lin Yu quickly recognized the woman's identity through her attire and the hidden nine-tailed fox bloodline inside her body. I saw Yuzao slowly walking 2 meters in front of Lin Yu, twisting and twisting. Then he bowed slightly and said in gentle Chinese, I have seen Lin Yujun before, Yuzao. Lin Yujun is truly a player from Kyushu Kingdom, capable of easily killing even intermediate-level monsters. During speech, Yuzao silently activated the talent of the nine-tailed fox bloodline. Charm. A faint pink scent that was invisible to the naked eye emanated from Yuzao's body and slowly entered Lin Yu's body. She plans to use her charm talent to make Lin Yu her subordinate. Because she has already had successful experiences. The long-armed demon ape with passionate hair just now was influenced by Yuzao Qian's enchanting talent and became her puppet. After Yuzao discovered Lin Yu meditating and practicing on the beach, he didn't hesitate to send the long-armed demon ape to kill Lin Yu. She just didn't expect it. A level 1 intermediate monster unexpectedly died in the hands of Lin Yu. This is very inconsistent with Lin Yufan's bloodline. Yuzao Qian is not sure why, and he dare not ask too much. We can only repeat the old trick and use the charm talent to seduce Lin Yu. But Lin Yu is not an ordinary person. He's a bandit. In the eyes of the bandits, even the most beautiful women are red-pink skeletons. In addition, due to the cultivation of the heavenly swallowing demon technique, Yuzao's alluring talent had no effect on Lin Yu at all. The enchanting aura that entered Lin Yu's body was quickly absorbed by the heavenly swallowing magic technique. Lin Yu looked at Yuzao in front of the waves and shouted loudly, "Bold demon, I can tell at a glance that you're not a human. How dare you teach a small skill like carving insects to teach an axe? I don't even know the superiority of heaven and earth. Show off." Lin Yu rushed to the front of Yuzao with just one swift step. Before Yuzao could react, Lin Yu slapped the dantian in front of Yuzao. Subsequently, the heavenly swallowing demon technique was instantly activated. The surging demonic energy quickly surged into the body of Yuzao. Yuzao immediately let out a painful scream. Ah, damn it! Lin Yu showed no mercy towards fragrance or jade. The heavenly swallowing demon technique quickly devoured the blood vessels of the nine-tailed fox in Yuzao Qian's body. The bloodline of the nine-tailed fox, which was formed by the fortune of the Japanese nation, was quickly devoured by Lin Yu's swallowing demon technique. The breath in front of Yuzao also instantly withered. Just now, the rosy face also lost its color. The whole person has lost a big circle of weight. Lin Yu saved her life. I have no plans to kill her temporarily. It's not because he's soft-hearted. But he is still unsure if he will face any punishment for personally killing athletes from other countries. If you lose 1 year of your life due to killing Yuzao, it's really a big loss. As long as we catch a player from another country next time, let them kill each other to understand the underlying rules. If killing athletes from other countries with one's own hands would result in punishment, then we can only borrow a knife to kill. If there is no punishment, and even additional rewards, Lin Yu doesn't mind becoming a national fortune hunter. Especially hunting down national athletes from various countries. Yuzao sat slumped on the beach and said weakly, "Why didn't you kill me?" Lin Yu glanced at him and said, "If you want to escape my clutches through death, I advise you not to think about it. I won't kill you for now. If you really want to die, you can bite your tongue and commit suicide. I won't stop you." Yu Zhao asked again, you have drained the blood vessels of the nine-tailed fox in my body. How did you do it? Lin Yu is too lazy to talk to this woman who lacks resistance. So he walked up to the corpse of the long-armed demon ape on his own and began to devour the source of the corpse. This is the terrifying aspect of the heavenly swallowing demon technique. Everything can be swallowed. I won't even let the body go. Yu Zhao, seeing that Lin Yu ignored him, still insisted, if you kill me, the people of the Eastern Kingdom will lose 1 year of their lives and their resources will be reduced by 10%. This is a good thing for your Kyushu kingdom. Once this statement is made, the people of Japan suddenly couldn't sit still. Ba Jie, a foolish woman who dares to betray Japan is truly unforgivable. After Lin Yu drained the body of the long-armed demon ape from its original source. Take a refreshing long breath. He can feel that his cultivation has improved a bit. However, there is still a considerable distance to go before the later stage of gas refining. Looking at the withered bones of the long-armed demon ape on the ground, Lin Yu directly put it into the space ring in his hand. Although he is not sure if the products produced by the Bandit system can be realized 100 times. But this taboo island native thing can definitely manifest 100 times. Moreover, even though the essence of the long-arm monkey has been sucked by Lin Yu, the remaining flesh and bones are also rare good things for Kyushu Kingdom. Cannot be wasted. After handling the bones, Lin Yu walked up to Yu Zhao and looked at her pitiful appearance, snorting coldly, I'm very angry now, take off. Yu Zhao was noticeably stunned. I immediately reacted. Then she gave a charming smile. Slowly reach out to Lin Yu's waist. But he was slapped away by Lin Yu and shouted angrily, Fox, I warn you, you are now a prisoner. If you dare to move again, I will cut you to death with a knife. Yu Zhao said pitifully, didn't you say you took it off? Lin Yu snorted coldly, let you take off the space ring in your hand, otherwise I'll chop it for you. Is it that I don't like Lin Yujun's eyes? Yu Zhao said pitifully. However, while speaking, she still took off the space ring in her hand and handed it to Lin Yu. Lin Yu ignored her. Hold the space ring in your hand and take a look. I suddenly felt a slight surprise. The space ring not only contains fruits, meat, and other food, but also some sparkling white stones that Lin Yu has never seen before, and also contains some spiritual energy, full of good things. Lin Yu quickly transferred all the supplies from the jade algae ring to his own ring, and then asked, you little fox, where did you get these supplies from? These things were all taken from the cave of that long-armed demon ape, said Yuzookian without concealing anything. As soon as I landed, I appeared at the entrance of its cave and happened to encounter it in heat. Then, I took the opportunity to use my charm talent to control it. After searching all the supplies in its cave, I came out to search for them, and then I saw you. Lin Yu said coldly, so you're commanding it to kill me. Yu Zhao didn't answer before, obviously agreeing to Lin Yu's statement. Lin Yu didn't care about it. A woman who has lost her resistance. It's not too late to kill until the remaining value of the jade algae is drained. So Lin Yu found a nylon rope from the system warehouse. What are you doing? Yu Zhao Qian said cautiously. Shut up. Lin Yu scolded, take me to the cave of the long-armed demon ape. Say it. Lin Yu tied up the 5 flowers of Yuzookian with a nylon rope. Chapter 8. Another group of those who died. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thanks to years of learning experience, Lin Yu's binding technique is quite skilled. Quickly tied up the 5 flowers of Yuzookian. This provocative operation also shocked the chins of many netizens. I'll go. I didn't expect Yushin to be an old driver. It's impossible to do this without more than 10 years of driving experience. Using Japanese techniques to deal with Japanese women, the move of Yushin is just one word, amazing. I don't know if there will be any inappropriate scenes for children in the future, but I still have a little anticipation. I'm looking forward to a chicken feather. The private screen won't play, and you can't even watch it if you want. A group of LSPs, how could Yushin be someone like you who thinks with your lower body? How could a mere fox get into Yushin's eyes? That's right, the island of taboos is in crisis, and how could the universal god act recklessly for a Japanese woman? After tying the jade algae in front, Lin Yu directly lifted it up and hung it around his waist. After being drained of the blood of the nine-tailed fox, Yu Zhao Qian only weighed 80 pounds. This weight is effortless for Lin Yu in the middle stage of Qi training. The action was almost unaffected. There is another benefit to doing this. In case of encountering a monster, you can also use Yu Zhao Qian as bait to delay time. It can also be considered as waste reuse. At this moment, Lin Yu also heard a system prompt sound in his mind. Ding! The progress of the host playing as a bandit has increased by 1%, and the current progress is 3%, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 Guban Peiyuan pills, which have been placed in the system warehouse. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the lower level formation, 5-element fantasy formation. After setting up the formation, a small 5-element fantasy formation can be formed within a radius of 100 meters and has been stored in the system warehouse. The 5-element psychedelic array is a good thing. However, Lin Yu still showed a displeased expression and thought to himself, system, why are there only 10 Guban Peiyuan pills left? Who can eat such a little? Let the foreigners in the live broadcast room see it and think I can't afford it. Another 100. 100 pills at a time. The system did not buy it this time, but responded, host, just threaten and intimidate once, there is no reward for more. Damn it. If you don't say it earlier, it's a waste of expression, Lin Yu scolded. I thought the host already knew that there was no reward when you scared old Zhang the second time before. Lin Yu thought it seemed like this was really the case. The first time I scared the old man and the old lady, playing the role of a bandit increased my progress by 1%. But the second time he scared old Zhang, there was no increase in progress. At this moment, Yu Zhao, who was hanging around his waist, saw that Lin Yu had not left for a long time. He couldn't help but say, are you going or not? If you don't, put me down. Guide. Lin Yu coldly ordered. Yu Zhao said, there is a waterfall 500 meters ahead, and behind the waterfall is a cave. That's where I met the long-armed demon ape. Upon hearing this, Lin Yu quickly rushed forward. We arrived in less than a minute at a distance of 500 meters. Lin Yu indeed saw the waterfall that Yu Zhao mentioned before. At the moment he saw the waterfall, he couldn't help but recite a poem. The flowing water flows down 3,000 feet, probably like the Milky Way falling into 9 days. Although Lin Yu has also seen the Lushan waterfall before, compared to the waterfall in front of him, the waterfall in Lushan is almost incomparable, with no trace of comparability. Li Taibai's poetry can at most be described, and the waterfall in front of him is the true real-life description. Lin Yu's poetry has also immediately attracted praise from a large number of netizens. Good poem. It's really a lewd poem. Unexpectedly, not only is the combat power of the universal god explosive, but also his literary literacy is so outstanding. This poem is enough to rank in the top 10 in literary history. A good question is that the Milky Way falls into the 9 heavens. Perhaps only a unique person like Yushin can come up with such a magnificent metaphor. The jade algae hanging from Lin Yu's waist couldn't help but praise, I didn't expect Lin Yujun to have such literary talent. I really admire him. Lin Yu didn't pay attention to the fox's praise, but asked, is the cave of the long-armed demon ape right behind the waterfall? Yes, Yu Zhao said, Lin Yujun, hurry up and go. I don't want to be tied up like this all the time. Lin Yu didn't think there was anything at first. But being urged by Yu Zhao Qian, I suddenly felt something was wrong. If Yu Zhao Qian really doesn't want to be tied up like this, he should bite his tongue and commit suicide. After all, he will be resurrected in an hour, instead of eagerly bringing Lin Yu to the cave of the long-armed demon ape. Unless she wants to take Lin Yu and die together. There is fraud. Lin Yu became vigilant again. Then he immediately placed his watermelon knife horizontally on his chest and took out a solid foundation cultivation pill to eat, while guarding and practicing the heavenly demon swallowing technique. Yu Zhao saw Lin Yu's behavior in front of her and chuckled twice, then immediately let out a scream. Ah! Although the sound of the waterfall ahead is loud. But it still hasn't completely covered up the call in front of Yu Zhao. Soon. This mountain forest gave Yu Zhao Qian a response. A large number of birds are flapping their wings to escape from this place. And the waterfall ahead is also rapidly changing. Deep roars came from behind the waterfall. Lin Yu can hear it. This is the same roar as the long-armed demon ape. It seems that Yu Zhao Qian did not lie at all. There is indeed a cave behind this waterfall. However, this cave is not the private cave of the long-armed demon ape just now. But it's the territory of the long-armed magic ape tribe. In the blink of an eye. 8 long-armed magic apes, measuring over 3 meters in height, rushed out from behind the waterfall. A jump landed 10 meters in front of Lin Yu. After staring at Lin Yu for a few seconds, these long-armed demon apes instantly ignited with anger. Lin Yu lowered his head to take a look. The secret way is not good. When I killed the long-armed demon ape just now, its body was covered in its blood. Nowadays, these long-armed demon apes must have smelled the scent of their own kind on themselves. It seems that this is a never-ending situation. Yu Zhao couldn't help but burst out laughing when she saw her scheme succeed and said, "Lin Yu-jun, do you like the gift I prepared for you?" Lin Yu sneered disdainfully as the Japanese woman gestured, borrowing the hands of a few beasts to kill me. Fantasy. Say it. Lin Yu lifted the jade algae from his waist and threw it towards the long-armed demon ape in the distance. One of the long-armed demon apes watched as they flew towards Yu Zhao. Grab it directly. Then he fell heavily onto the ground stones. Bang, bang, bang. Yu Zhao was unexpectedly thrown into a meat patty. Announcement. Japanese player Yu Zhao Qian has died in action and will be randomly resurrected at any location on the Forbidden Island in 1 hour. The life expectancy of the entire population in the Japanese country has decreased by 1 year. All resources in the Japanese country have decreased by 1/10. P.S. Parallel world, stealing poetry is the basic operation, do not 6. Chapter 9. Formation, Hunting Moments. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. As an island country, Japan. Physical capital is quite scarce. In economically developed times, it was necessary to rely on imported goods to maintain normal domestic life and production. Not to mention post-war Japan. In the battles of the previous decade, there were dozens of battles between Japan and Kyushu. And all the results of the battle were a disastrous defeat for the Japanese Empire. If it weren't for the support of the Meili Kingdom behind Japan, I'm afraid the country has long been lost. Although the war has ended now. However, all kinds of resources in Japan have already been consumed to the point where there is not a single one. And due to the relationship between Kyushu Kingdom, there is no country in the entire East that exports goods to Japan. At this time, the country of Japan, I can only survive under the protection of Meili Kingdom. Now, the death in front of Yu Zhao dealt a fatal blow to the entire Japanese nation. The announcement has just ended. Punishment will come to the country of Japan. Those elderly people who are already sagging old and those who are seriously injured or sick in bed, after losing their lifespan by 1 year, immediately lose their breath. Besides that, Japan, which already has limited resources, all domestic resources have once again decreased by 1/10. At this time, the country of Japan Even the basic living needs of the domestic population are difficult to sustain. The outbreak of internal strife is a matter of time. But for the plight of the Japanese nation, no one sympathizes with them. They deserve it. There should be this report. The words are divided into two parts. The situation on Lin Yu's side also looks pessimistic. The intermediate-level long-armed demon ape with 8 heads quickly rushed towards Lin Yu. Lin Yu did not evade, but chose to confront. It's not because he's arrogant, but because he needs this territory. There are numerous crises on the island, making it almost difficult to find a safe foothold. The cave behind the waterfall is undoubtedly a good stronghold. The group of long-armed demon apes has been living here for many years. Just kill all the long-armed demon ape clan. Lin Yu can temporarily practice here with peace of mind. And this waterfall is also a very rare freshwater resource. Don't miss it. Seeing 8 long-armed demon apes rushing towards him quickly, Lin Yu also did not support These beasts are monsters in the same realm as him. Previously, killing the long-armed demon ape relied on agile movements. Now surrounded by 8 long-armed demon apes. Even if one moves flexibly, it may be difficult to resist. After several rounds of confrontation between the two sides, Lin Yu successfully cut more than 10 wounds on the body of the 8 long-armed demon ape. But at the same time, Lin Yu also suffered a hard slap from the long-armed demon ape. This palm doesn't feel good. Directly shook Lin Yu out of internal injuries. This is the difference between monster and human cultivators. Monsters surpass human cultivators by a large margin in both physical strength and defense. The advantages of human cultivators cannot be reflected here in Lin Yu for the time being. After all, he has been a monk for less than half an hour. Lack of experience and limited means of attack. He can swim in the hands of 8 monsters of the same level without losing. It's already very rare. He reached out and gently wiped away the blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. Then he vigorously shook the blood off his sword and cursed in a deep voice, "Beasts, if I don't kill you today, I don't deserve to be this bandit." Kyushu netizens who saw this scene also cheered Lin Yu. "Come on, Yushin. We believe you can definitely slaughter these animals. Yushin, hold on. If something cannot be done, never force it. Leave the Green Mountains without worrying about firewood burning. It's not too late to seek revenge after cultivation. Don't lose your life in vain. I thought Yushin was a gangster when I saw his appearance before, but I didn't expect him to be a bandit. But why didn't I find his glorious deeds online? You're stupid. Even if Yushin used to be a bandit and now becomes a player in our country, you naturally understand everything about his past." At the same time, Kyushu City A Supreme Command Headquarters. An old man in a Zhongshan suit turned to look at a middle-aged man in a suit next to him and said, "Has Lin Yu committed a major crime before?" The middle-aged man replied, "Leader, we have already investigated Lin Yu thoroughly. He is an ordinary young man from S City, and his parents died in the war in their early years. In the following years, although he gave up on himself and often did things like sneaking around and bullying men and women, he never committed any major criminal cases." The old man was puzzled and said, "From this perspective, he used to be at most a little thug. How could he call himself a bandit?" The middle-aged man smiled and said, "Leader, these little thugs usually have a dream of being a bandit, but they don't have the courage or strength, so they just talk verbally." The old man pointed to Lin Yu on the screen and asked in response, "Does he look like a person without courage or strength?" The middle-aged man suddenly fell silent. The old man waved his hand and said, "Keep investigating, this matter is too suspicious." Although the fortunes of Kyushu were not weaker than those of Meili and Kitakura, they only awakened a mortal bloodline. But unfortunately, as a mortal bloodline, he can easily kill intermediate-level monsters. It's really a bit eerie. The middle-aged man nodded and said, I understand, leader. I'll go investigate now. This command center is after the start of the National Rejuvenation game. The Kyushu Guizheng Prefecture quickly established the National Movement Command headquarters. The headquarters gathers the most cutting-edge talents from various departments such as military, political, and scientific research in Kyushu province. The purpose is to analyze the rules and possible consequences of the entire national recovery game, as well as the corresponding response measures. And Zhou, wearing a Zhongshan suit, is the highest commander of the entire command center. During this special period, he had the right to mobilize any resources of Kyushu province. Of course. Like the second live broadcast rooms developed in other countries. Kyushu disdains doing it. The revival of national sports is such a serious and important matter. How can we invite some vases, actors, celebrities, and even so-called public intellectuals to participate in the discussion? It's just a big smile. P.S. It's not aimed at anyone, please don't take your seat according to the number. Return to the Forbidden Island. After Lin Yu forcefully took the palm of the long-armed demon ape. It is difficult to defeat these 8 beasts in frontal combat. Even if we win by chance. I'm afraid it will also come at a great cost. This is a very dangerous thing. No one knows what dangers are waiting for Lin Yu in the future. Lin Yu pondered for a moment. Soon there was a new strategy to break through the enemy. System, if your things are not awesome, I will never let you go. Produced by bandits, it must be a masterpiece. Lin Yu then began to quickly circle around the 8-headed long-armed demon ape. I saw Lin Yu holding 5 small flags of different colors in his left hand. Then quickly inserted onto the surrounding ground. This is exactly the 5-element psychedelic array rewarded by the system just now. It happens to be used to surround 8 livestock. Then break them down one by one. Formation. Lin Yu shouted loudly. The words fell to the ground. The wind rises and the clouds surge. The 8-headed long-armed demon apes in the illusion formation suddenly began to wander around like headless flies. But there is the existence of formations. No matter how hard they struggle, they can never escape the range of the illusion formation. Lin Yu grinned and said, hunting time has arrived. Chapter 10. Breakthrough, Late Gas Refining. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The bandit smiled, life and death were unpredictable. Lin Yu instantly transformed into a crooked-mouthed war god. With a jump, he rushed into the group of long-armed magic apes. At this time, the long-armed demon ape was unable to distinguish between the southeast, northwest, and northwest due to the influence of the 5-element psychedelic array. I can only passively get beaten under Lin Yu's watermelon knife. Only a few seconds passed. Lin Yu's watermelon knife struck more than 10 times on one of the long-armed demon apes. Bright red blood continuously spurted out from the body of the long-armed demon ape. The long-armed demon ape that was killed screamed in pain as it looked up to the sky. Roar, Lin Yu keeps an eye on the time. Repeat the old trick once again. Jump up 3 meters high directly. Then lift the watermelon knife high in your hand. A faint demonic aura enveloped Lin Yu's body. Set him off as a peerless bandit. Kill the gods with one slash. The terrifying blade and demonic aura quickly swept over the neck of the long-armed demon ape. Announcement. Kyushu player Lin Yu has successfully killed the first-level intermediate demon beast, the long-armed demon ape. Announcement. Congratulations to Kyushu national athlete Lin Yu for increasing his lifespan by 1 year and improving his overall physical fitness by 10%. Announcement. Life expectancy of all residents in Kyushu has increased by 1 year, and overall physical fitness has increased by 10%. Announcement. All resources within Kyushu territory will increase by 10%. The familiar 4-tone announcement rang out again in everyone's minds. This marks Lin Yu's successful killing of the second demon beast. The entire Kyushu region once again erupted with enthusiastic cheers. Whether it's the streets and alleys or the fields. All Kyushu people who follow Lin Yu are extremely excited. Since the moment the game started. Their destinies are tightly bound to Lin Yu. All prosper and all suffer. Now Lin Yu has successfully killed the second monster. It also brought them enormous benefits. At this moment, Lin Yu's position in their hearts is comparable to that of the Jade Emperor. Even there have been instances of it. Eugeniabe. From today on, I am the most loyal believer of Eugeniabe. My Kyushu contestants did not disappoint us. Let's ask 208 contestants, who else has such strength? Humph, there's not even one who can fight. What nonsense is the bloodline of the Chinese people, the bloodline of the nine-tailed fox, all of which are garbage. Now that Yu Shen has only killed 2 long-armed magic apes, I feel that his physical fitness has become much stronger. If Lin Yu kills all the remaining 7 long-armed magic apes, then our overall physical fitness can be directly increased by 90%, almost doubling. Not only that, all the resources in our Kyushu country can also double, and any food crisis, water crisis, or economic crisis will no longer exist. Yu Shen is truly the savior of the 9 provinces. Some people are happy while others are worried. Lin Yu's such heroic performance. Naturally, it makes netizens from other countries jealous. Even some netizens from the Kimchi country came forward and shouted that Lin Yu was actually from the Kimchi country. This has naturally been subjected to cyberbullying by everyone in Kyushu. Just a country of kimchi. Do you also deserve to have a universal god? It's simply shameless to the extreme. Within the Supreme Command headquarters of Kyushu Province, Zhou Lao slowly stood up from his seat. Then he stretched lazily and comfortably. With a smile on his face, he said, although I don't want to admit it, lying on a chair can enhance my physical fitness. It's really comfortable. No wonder those young people used to like to lie flat. This feeling is really good. The subordinate on the side agreed, it's really good. The physical fitness of all Kyushu people has increased by 20%. Just for this, Lin Yu's contribution can be considered a great achievement. Zhou Lao asked again, has his matter been thoroughly investigated? The subordinate responded, Leader, we have checked all 18 generations of Lin Yu's ancestors. All the information shows that he is just an ordinary person and there is nothing special about him. As for why it behaves so miraculously, there is really no clue. Upon hearing this, Zhou lowered his head and pondered for a moment before exhaling heavily, saying, forget it, if we can't find him, we can't find him. No matter who he used to be, from now on, he will be the protector of our 9 provinces. The subordinate nodded solemnly and said seriously, understood. On the island of taboos. After Lin Yu killed the long-armed demon ape, I can clearly feel that my physical fitness has improved a lot. The dark injury I suffered just now from a hard slap has also returned to its original state. Along the way, the speed of absorbing the solid foundation Peiyuan pill has also increased significantly. Lin Yu made a decisive decision. Swallow 3 solid foundation and nurturing pills again. Then, while using the elixir to cultivate the heavenly swallowing demon technique, he also killed the long-armed demon ape. Perhaps I felt my companion die by my side. The remaining 7 long-armed magic apes immediately entered a state of frenzy. My eyes gradually turned red. The arms, which were already knee-high, grew longer again and fell directly to the ground. This is precisely the strongest innate ability of the long-armed demon ape. Fury. To temporarily enhance combat effectiveness by consuming one's own chi and blood. But now the situation is on Lin Yu's side. After being strengthened, Lin Yu's combat effectiveness was already stronger than before. Plus the assistance of the 5 elements psychedelic array. Even if the long-armed demon ape is no matter how wild it is, they cannot pose much threat to Lin Yu. Lin Yu did not delay much. after swallowing the Gu Ben Pei Yuan Dan into the stomach. Immediately, he picked up his sword again and found one of the long-armed demon apes. A few seconds later, the familiar announcement sounded again. Announcement. Kyushu player Lin Yu has successfully killed the first-level intermediate demon beast, the long-armed demon ape. Announcement. This is already the third intermediate-level monster that Lin Yu has slain. Kyushu is once again boiling domestically. The number of online viewers in Kyushu's live streaming room has exceeded 3 billion. The quantity is almost half of the population of Blue Star. But this is not over yet. As Lin Yu killed each long-armed demon ape one by one, Lin Yu's physical fitness has also been greatly strengthened. Soon, all 10 Guban Peiyuan pills were absorbed and refined by Lin Yu's swallowing demon technique. Lin Yu clearly felt that his cultivation level was only one step away from the later stage of Qi cultivation. Stare at the last long-armed demon ape remaining in the 5 elements psychedelic array. Lin Yu snorted coldly, "Your companions have all died, do you still have the face to live? Let me take you to reunite with them. Kill the gods with one slash. This knife. No skills, no surprise attacks. Just hit it hard." The terrifying blade and magic energy cut off the arm of the long-armed demon ape like cutting tofu. Afterwards, the remaining power of the blade remains undiminished. It was easy to chop off the head of the long-armed demon ape. So far, all 8 long-armed demon apes in the 5 elements fantasy formation were beheaded by Lin Yu with his sword. And as the familiar announcement sounded, Lin Yu's cultivation also directly broke through to the later stage of Qi cultivation. Become one of the 208 contestants. The highest realm.